Good morning, greetings, blessings. How's everybody today? Even though I am doing a makeup live video, or I should say makeup live audio, from Friday, August the 10th, 2018. Today is Sunday, beautiful Sunday morning. I'm not going to take too much of your time up today with this makeup live audio. But today I want to speak on money matters, establishing a credit history. So I know for me, I am working on building my credit up to be in a better standing. It's not the worst, but it's in that middle, but I want it to be better. And I'm not an expert on establishing credit, but I am going to talk about some different options on how we can do better. And my goal is to hopefully in one of my I don't want to say shows, but one of my videos, to have a certified financial planner who's been doing this way more than I have in this little bit of segment that I'm doing, to give some more additional tools and resources and how, again, we can improve our credit. So you may have heard the phrase establishing a credit history, but just what does that mean? And what is credit? Credit usually refers to the ability of a consumer to obtain goods or services before payment based on the trust that payment will be made in the future. So people seek credit for various reasons. Perhaps you're moving into your first apartment or your first home, your first-time home buyer, which that's a working goal I'm doing. You may need furniture. Perhaps you have unexpected expenses such as your car. And for those that have cars, that's like having another child. You have to make sure that car is up from the engine to making it has gas, insurance, just as a whole, that the car is working and driving properly. So you may need credit because you don't have fast access to cash. So using credit wisely can help you improve the quality of your life, overcome financial difficulties, and deal effectively with emergencies. Each time you make a purchase on credit, you are being trusted to make final payment at some time in the future. So yes, we're good a lot of times. A lot of us, we have our credit cards. You swipe. You're supposed to pay that back, people, in a timely manner, right? Because when you miss payments and you don't pay it back for an extended period of time, that takes points off your credit, right? So every time you pay on time, points go up. If you pay a little bit more, if you can, points go up. If you don't pay it on time and it's really late, points go down. That's just the way that it is. And it makes it bad when we want to do other things. So every time you do pay the lender, the more likely the lender will want to do business with you. So again, that's you pay it on time, you pay it, or even if you pay it in full, they'll really love you for that. Like you pay off a balance in full, they'll want to increase your credit line. They'll offer you'll start seeing more things come in the mail, other different credit cards and stuff. So yeah. So after all, you have paid as you agreed to do so. So again, every time you pay the lender, the more likely the lender will want to do business with you. Some lenders report activity to major credit reporting agencies. With this information, soon everyone will have access to your habits in the form of a credit report. This is what establishing good credit means. This report will be available for other lenders to review. So you know your stuff is not secret. You know it's out here for everyone to see, right? So that's why you have to watch the activity that you do on your credit card. Even your social security numbers are out there. Please don't think that it's just so like they're really like it's private. Unfortunately, that's not the case. So you have to be careful about how you use your credit card, what you use your credit card on. If you're paying your paying that money back on time, or is it late? Like, those habits are being watched, because if you want to do something, if you want to use your credit, or if you're trying to buy a house, a car, apartment, furniture, or whatever, they're going to look at your report and the habits and the activities on, they're watching you closely to see how late you've been, or have you been on time. If you don't pay as agreed, the lender is less likely to want your business. If this is the case and the lender does decide to offer you credit, you will often have to pay more in terms of a higher interest rate. And if you hear anything in the background, yes, you hear a wonderful train. Hopefully you don't, but if you do, it is what it is. So I know, like for me, I have this cute little student loan from back in the day, like the late 80s, when I graduated from college. Graduated from high school, I pretty much went straight to college. So life happens. I won't get into details, but life happens. And so made some payment, but it wasn't sufficient enough for them. So, but anyway, that's something that I'm working on, is to pay off student loans. And you know what? To me, it really wasn't, they really don't care how long it's been. I know there's been a saying that after a certain amount of years, I think it's 6 or 7 years, it's supposed to go away. But no, not with the government. Nothing really goes away. Not to me, anyway, my thoughts. So anyway, I made an agreement, because I do want that off. It just is what it is. I got a pretty decent package that was offered to me based on the questions that I answered. And so I'm going to stand accountable, because it's not always everybody else. It starts with you as well, right? So I'm going to be accountable, and I'm going to do my part, and I'm going to make sure that I get receipts and whatever I need for my security, so that I can make sure I watch my credit numbers go up. So we have to do our due diligence as well. And make sure that you ask questions with anything. If something you don't understand, don't just go with it. Tell them, I don't understand. Explain it better to me. Or get a second opinion. So continuing to not pay your bills or paying them late every time will eventually mark you as a bad credit risk. And I do understand from personal experience, things do happen. But you have to do your best to make sure to stay on top of things as best as you can. If you can't, let them know. Don't just leave them in the dark. Let them know, listen, I need extensions, or I need a forgiveness, or I have a hardship, something. It is being recorded when they talk to you. That's not play. They are actually recording you when they have these conversations. Never agree to a repayment, or never agree to anything if you know you actually can't. You might be trying to just get them off the phone so they can shut up. But no, don't do that. Never agree to anything that you can't really do. So negative activity will be reported to the credit reporting agencies as well. This is not a repetition, you will want to have. Again, this is not repetition that you will want to have. So how exactly do you build a good credit reputation? Here are a few hints to get you started. The first step is to get employment. Lenders like to see some form of continuing and predictable cash flow. So if you have employment, that's good. Also, I'm sure there's individuals that are on disability that cannot work, that are deemed that they cannot work. But you have to have some type of stable income coming in. Now, this lady told me in regards to, student loans, like the only way that the government would, I guess, forgive it all the way, so to speak, is if you were on disability and the Social Security would deem you as you no longer can work. So that means you really, you just have your Social Security or disability check. And so I believe that was probably the only way. Don't know. I'm sure there are loopholes. Let me just say that too. So just got to ask questions. So without a cash flow, those regular payments that lenders like may just not be there. Next, start with borrowing a small amount. So these are going to be some different options. Start with borrowing a small amount. If you start small, a lender's exposure to loss is not as great. So they may be more willing to lend to you. Perhaps you might initially ask for about $300 to $400. Pay this off promptly and then apply for another if need be, slightly larger than the first loan that you originally applied for. Pay this one off promptly as well. By borrowing and paying off as expected, eventually you will build a trustworthy credit relationship with this lender. If you are working with a lender that reports to a credit reporting agency, the positive activity will be reported on your credit report. This will inform other potential lenders that you are a low credit risk. Another option is to choose a credit card with a low credit limit. Sometimes major credit card companies will offer small lines of credit to groups, such as credit union members. If you belong to the group, consider getting a card, using it, and once again paying the balance off promptly. This activity will show up on your credit report. Many retail stores issue charge cards. If you are making a purchase anyway, consider signing up for a card. Just be aware that this interest rate can be high and the credit limit low. As with all credit, use it responsibly. And finally, another suggestion is to make a large down payment, if that's an option for you. If you are making a large purchase, such as a car, consider saving and making a large down payment, since the amount you will borrow is less when making a large down payment. The lender may be more inclined to lend you the money. So there's several options for us guys, but making sure that we repay what we used responsibly and as on time as possible makes it a little easier for us if we need to do bigger, like take care of bigger activities or responsibilities, I should say, such as a car, an apartment, a home, just like a variety of different things. And if you're not sure about your credit report and you need to see what types of activities that are on there, you have annual credit report. You have that. You have Credit Karma. You have Credit Check. You have TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax. Okay, so you can get those once a year. I suggest getting it so you know what different activities are out there, because if there's anything that's on there that you have no clue what it is, you can definitely dispute it. There are ways to get things done. You just have to have patience, and you have to do your due diligence, because nobody will do it for you. Okay? Because sometimes, well, not sometimes, but we all know that your information, your identity can be taken away from you. My identity was taken away from me. So it can take years to get that back, because the government, how they see it, it's you. All they know is it's your name, your information, and they just automatically assume that you did all of what's on your activity. So I just want to give those little tidbits out. I hope that that was helpful, what I said, what I spoke on. I hope that you continue to enjoy the rest of your day. Remember, you are important. You matter. Your life matters. I'm important. My life matters. Do your due diligence. Be accountable. Pay those debts off. Have your credit go high so that you're able to get the things that you want and do the things that you want to do. Always remember the self-care and the self-respect and the self-love and knowing your worth. Making sure with all of that you take care of your inside as well as your outside, your physical, your mental, your mind, body, and soul. Taking care of the crown of your head to the soles of your feet. And with that, I hope that you have a great and awesome day on purpose. With gratitude, Ashe.